I'm here with Nick Cruse from the Revolutionary Blackout Network, and guess what? So I'm reading the Washington Post, and this is an opinion piece. It says the West feels gloomy about Ukraine. Here's why it shouldn't. You're not going to believe this. Maybe you will. Meanwhile, for the United States and its NATO allies, these 18 months of war have been a strategic windfall. That means a good thing. That means an amazing good thing for us. Wait. At relatively low cost, other than for the Ukrainians.
Jesus.
Here's what Aaron Mate, Washington Post David Ignatius on the state of the Ukraine proxy war. Meanwhile, for the United States and its NATO allies, these 18 months of war have been a strategic windfall at relatively low cost other than for the Ukrainians. Yeah, other than for the Ukrainians. Isn't this, that's just saying, that's admitting that, yeah, we don't care about the Ukrainian people at all. And this is all about us and what we can get out of Russians slaughtering Ukrainians. And the Washington Post is admitting that now. I wonder if they found out about this at breaking points. I wonder if anybody told Crystal and Kyle that the Washington Post is now revealing that their pro-war stance is bullshit. Please explain how Russia expanding its territory and forming an alliance with China is a strategic windfall. That's correct, by the way. So the worst thing that could happen for the United States is for China and Russia to come closer together and form economic partnerships and military partnerships. That's what this did. That's what the Ukrainian war did. And scholars and people who study this from across the political spectrum have said for decades that that would be the worst possible thing for the United States.
But Jimmy...
Well, they made it happen, Kurt.
Transnational corporations don't care about the United States.
And that's why this happened, because our government is run by transnational corporations
Just a state.
who don't give a shit about any country. There are no countries. There's only corporations. And if this war hurts America but helps corporations inside of it, that's all they care about. A lot of Russians and 4 Russian-German gas pipelines were killed in the process. That's the windfall. So that's what they mean. The windfall for the United States is we killed a lot of Russians and we screwed up the Russian-German pipeline, which was going to bring economic prosperity to Russia, Germany, and Europe. We couldn't have that. The United States has always feared Russian manpower and Russian natural resources coming together with Germany's technology and capital. For decades, we've been afraid of that. Well, it happened. They had a pipeline coming from Russia to Germany, so we blew it up. That should be an act of war. It is. How has the U.S. support of UKR been a strategic windfall? It's pushing the world to de-dollarize, putting RU and CN into an alliance, so that's Russia and China, into an alliance that could be globally hegemonic. Russia has all the natural resources, and China has all the factories.
We set them there. That's great.
That's right. And our kinetic power is depleting while Russia's is rising.
Oh, he means not a windfall for us.
So he admits that we don't care that we're slaughtering Ukrainians, but he also then gets it wrong that somehow this is a windfall for Americans. It's not. It's a windfall for American oil companies who want to sell liquefied natural gas to Europe. That's who it's a windfall for. It's a windfall for military industrial complex contractors. That's who it's a windfall for. It's not a windfall for the United States or its people. It's a huge loss. This is a huge lose-lose for the United States. And all the things they said that was going to happen when Donald Trump became president, meaning all the other countries, including our friends, would turn against us, not want to work with us, and form economic powerhouse alliances together against us. That's happening now under Joe Biden and the Democrats and the neocons that he's in bed with. Or he is. He is a neocon.
Jimmy, you could read all about how to build wealth in my new book, Dome Dad, Section 7, Wasteland Dad.
I don't get that joke.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, okay. I got it now. All right, so here is let's listen to Lindsey Graham. He looks like he's having a stroke, but here he goes.
4 months into this thing, I like the structural path we're on here. As long as we help Ukraine with the weapons they need and the economic support, they will fight to the last person.
There you go. Hey, if we just keep funding them, they're going to fight till they're all dead. And then we'll just have a peace agreement.
Hey, even if they got to grab some and stuff them in a van and kidnap them to do it, down to the last one.
So what do you have to say about this, the Washington Post editorial, Nick?
Yeah, they keep trying to pretend that this was a good strategic move by the United States. And just on paper and factually, you just broke it down. It was not. I don't know if you've seen these clips of liberal and pro-war hawks trying to explain to the American people why they should care about the Ukraine war. I know we got high groceries, people struggling to pay the rent, but they said this is why you should care about the Ukraine war. They said we do not win the war in Ukraine. If Ukraine does not beat Russia, then Russia is going to invade our country. If we don't stop Russia now, they're going to invade Europe. They're going to invade us. So it's in our national security interest to defeat them. That is the argument that they are essentially making. Now, Jimmy, how does that square with the propaganda that they've been saying that Russia is this weak military that can't even defeat Ukraine? So at one end, Russia is this weak military that losing to Ukraine has been embarrassed. But on the other hand, they want to convince Americans that this war is important because if we don't defeat Ukraine, Russia, they're going to take over the world. How does those two contradictions make sense? It does not. And so despite the fact that the United States has fallen on the global world stage and we're losing this war against Russia and Russia and China forming a partnership, BRICS is rising, despite all these horrible things, this is considered a win for them because weapon defense contractors and Raytheon and Boeing is making record profit, which is why Tucker Carlson did an incredible job when he had Mike Pence on, and Mike Pence admitted that the state of American cities is not his concern because that political mishap was actually how the ruling class feel. They don't care about tanking the quality of life of the West. They care about one thing only. That's their bottom line, meaning the profits of weapon defense contractors that would then give money to CNN, who would then give media time to politicians. Then Raytheon and weapon defense contractors also donate to campaigns and politicians. So it's a giant grift, and they literally going to tank the empire, the United States empire in the West, while they die rich. They don't care the long-term effects, Jimmy. They're going to die rich, and that's all they care about.
100%. Well,
how's Lindsey Graham keep getting voted for?
The media, he has money, media, that's it, I guess. Because if anybody reasonable ran against him, they made him out to be a crazy. I don't know. I'm guessing. I mean, these are all guesses. How does Dianne Feinstein get reelected, Kurt?
Well, she has a team of people that hold her up
That's
like
right.
a puppet. And
same thing with Joe Biden. Joe Biden's worse than Lindsey Graham. Joe Biden, people voted for demented Joe Biden.
But they don't all have mail-in voting, do they?
Come see our live shows. We're going to be in Chicago, Rosemont, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City, New York City, Pottstown, Pennsylvania, Stamford, Toronto, Toledo, Detroit, St. Louis, and more. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets.